Well, there's been quite a row unfolding since last night and a lot of political spin about whether the two-party preferred figures being constantly updated by the Australian Electoral Commission should be taken at face value and reported as they change from day to day. Yesterday, the Coalition moved ahead in that tally for the first time. Today, Labor was back in front, although as we go to air, the Coalition's on top again. To make sense of how the figures are determined and their significance, I'm joined now in our Sydney studio by the ABC's election analyst Anthony Green. So, Anthony, the Australian Electoral Commission has on its website a table headed House of Representatives National Two-Party Preferred Vote. Now, you say that is not the National Two-Party Preferred Vote. Why?
It's the total of the 142 electorates that have finished as Labor versus the Coalition contest. The other 8 aren't included, and those 8 include the 6 seats which have elected a National in WA, 4 independents and a Green. So the totals don't include the votes of any of the electorates of the people who are actually going to determine who's going to decide the election. So they're not National Two-Party Preferred votes, they're just a part total.
So why is the AEC at this time not including those seats?
It doesn't have a two-party preferred count on them. The Electoral Commission's job is to conduct the election, determine the winner in every seat and return the writs. And it's to do that to a level of detail that can withstand a court challenge. So its concentration is to return 150 elected members of Parliament. In 8 of those seats, it's a race between the Labor Party and the Greens or Nationals and Independents. It's not a race between Labor and Coalition. In those 8 seats, the Electoral Commission is quite rightly conducting a detailed count to determine who wins the seat. It can't do a two-party preferred count at this stage. It can't do it until it's finalised the result in those 8 seats. So the idea of getting a national two-party preferred isn't possible until those 8 seats have their actual result counted.
So for people who are watching this who don't necessarily understand all the ins and outs, who go to the AEC website, they might, with all respect, be thinking, well, gee, I like and I trust Anthony Green, but it's on the AEC website. What am I to make of this?
Well, that's the difficulty. It is an incomplete number. The Electoral Commission is always under pressure to produce a two-party preferred because that's what everybody wants. And most of the time is absolutely fine. This total might be 0.3 out or something, a small number out, which wouldn't matter if one side had won easily. No one would have noticed it wasn't exactly correct. At this election, it's absolutely down to the wire. At the moment, it's 50-50. It's somewhere around there, but we won't know until they've finished all the counting, which will be several weeks.
So why does the AEC then publish the tally as it goes? Does it always do that? Why is it doing it in this case?
Well, because it's done it because that's what everyone wants. And now I've argued with them for a couple of years that if they don't have the information, they shouldn't be presenting it on the basis it is the figures when it's not. None of the state electoral officers do this for exactly this reason. It just gets too complex. Look, they've done their best to meet demands for information to be published, and in this case, the information they have provided isn't complete and is providing a slightly misleading picture.
So therefore, do you see any value in the media reporting from day to day, so-and-so's ahead today, so-and-so's ahead tomorrow?
No, because it's not the complete figure. It's only 142 electorates anyway. Yesterday they changed the method of doing the counting, and that's why there was a sudden narrowing, because they changed the method. But we won't know the final result for a while yet.
Once Julia Gillard said the day after the election that Labor had won the two-party preferred, and she said had won, not ahead, wasn't it inevitable, though, that people would seize on the changes in that figure to show that her assertion wasn't necessarily correct?
Yes, that's right. But politics is often about picking on the points which favour your argument and ignoring the ones that don't. The Coalition, at the same time, was talking about the first preference vote because at the time the two-party preferred wasn't matching their argument. In the end, the votes aren't going to matter. It's the seats in the Parliament that matter. But it's certainly the case. I mean, even on election night, Nick Minchin initially referred to the two-party preferred. At other times, Stephen Smith referred to the two-party preferred. It's a standard handle that everybody clings on to. But in this case, the figure they've been clinging onto hasn't been correct all along.
But even so, when politicians are referring to and using that figure strategically, and it is available on the website, is it not going to have some sort of a, I suppose, psychological impact on the independents? Because the negotiations are going on as we speak, so presumably those numbers have to have some sort of an impact.
Well, everyone is, I mean, clearly everybody is aiming their arguments. They're trying to come up with a justification of why they should be appointed the government. The numbers are not there clear for either side. In both cases, both the Coalition and the Labor Party are searching around for things that back the justification for why they should be forming government. We have seen this in some of the states, the last time in South Australia in 2002, where the Labor Party failed to get a majority of seats, failed to get a majority of the two-party preferred vote, and then sort of got into government with crossbench independents. So we've seen this thing occur before at state level.
You are, as we know, very accomplished in terms of computer projections and predictions and whatnot. Is there any way of predicting who will ultimately win the two-party preferred vote?
I don't think so. The count itself is not complete. We've still got postals and absence being counted. A lot of the very safe Labor seats seem to be well behind. We've got 8 seats which aren't behind. The Labor Party position, once those 8 seats come in, will be about 0.1 and a bit better than it is now, I suspect. But we don't know the trend in the rest of the votes that have yet to be counted.
Anthony Green, we ruined a day off for you today. Thank you very much for coming in.